It was hard to ask for help for someone that you knew you were smarter than already.
Welcome back to 2.5 Chicks. It's me, Tess, and Monica, and Brian.
Hi.
Hello.
We got into the topic of asking for help and how hard it is for people to ask for help, right? Like when you need help, do you hesitate to ask for it? Do you think that you shouldn't need help and that you should be able to do something? Do you think it's weak to ask for help?
No, I think it depends on the person you're asking or not asking.
And what it's for, right?
Yeah.
Maybe?
So if at work, I don't like to ask anybody for anything.
Because you don't think they're trustworthy, or?
No, because I don't want they to think I'm an idiot.
I don't like asking for help, but I think it's because I just like to I have that confidence thing where I need to know that I can do it myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, I hate feeling like I'm bothering somebody. And then, I've had enough times in my life where I've asked somebody for help and I get like, oh, okay. Or
oh, wow.
You could tell they didn't want to help me. And so that just burned me.
That's just because you're a Latina woman. Nobody wants to help you. That's all that is.
It's possible. I don't know.
I just know that, like, when I was in massage school, Monica, my teacher told us there's two types of information in this world. The stuff you know and the stuff you look up. So when I don't know and I don't want to ask anybody, especially at work, then I just try to figure it out. I try to look it up. When all else fails, I'll call somebody that doesn't work for our company and ask them. So I don't want to ask anybody any questions in the company.
Okay. Remember before the internet when we used to buy like the encyclopedia sets?
Oh my gosh.
And that's how we got our information. We'd get like that set of encyclopedias and then look it up in the encyclopedia set. I used to love those books.
Now you're dating yourself.
Yeah, definitely dated myself.
So we have my whole family is a group full of non-college graduate people. And we had those books and I don't think they were ever opened, which explains a lot, right?
That's funny. Well, people don't seek out information unless they're really interested in it, right?
Yeah. And that's the only way you learn something, exponentially is if you are interested in it. If you're not, it just one ear and out the other.
Right.
Like like you said, when you went to school again, Monica, it was probably more interesting for you this time around, right? Because you were learning something you wanted to learn.
Mm-hmm. And I want to learn. Like I'm not being forced to learn. I want to learn it.
Like they don't have a gambling school. So I wouldn't be interested in going back for anything other than that.
You might be good at statistics, Brian.
Yeah.
No, I'm a bad gambler, Monica. There's
okay.
just no statistics in this head.
I hate statistics, but gambling is all about trying to gauge the statistics in your head, right?
Right. You have to have good memory too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I went to Vegas with two people that were total statistics-minded people. Mm-hmm. And I just ignored. I couldn't keep up with their thought process.
Okay, so maybe not.
Numbers to me mean nothing.
Well, not to mention with your drinking and gambling. I mean, how clear-headed can you be, right?
I was not clear-headed at all.
Right. I mean, you can't really.
And then I got sick on top of it. So every time I go someplace, every time I go on vacation or I get on an airplane, I get sick. So you think all the alcohol that I consume would have killed anything that entered my body? No. There's some serious viruses out there nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Brian. You are the type that, like, if there's a virus going around and somebody's going to get real sick from it, it'll be you.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I know. And she says, you're a hypochondriac. Well, the proof's in the pudding. I get sick. It's not hypochondriac when you're actually getting sick.
Did we tell the story before, Brian, where there was a person once at work who came in with what was clearly conjunctivitis?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, Brian was like, I can't believe she's coming in. I can't believe she's coming in. And there were probably like one or two other people, but nobody else was complaining, just like pretty much just staying away from her. And I can't believe she's coming in. And then all of a sudden, like out of all these people who were around this one person, nobody got conjunctivitis but Brian.
Yes. That's what I said.
Only
I want sick people around me.
It was not funny, but it was. I'm sorry.
Because I started yelling at this person, like literally yelling, not like you should talk to somebody at work, but I was yelling at her. Then she's yelling back at me. And then I started getting mad because 90% of the time you get conjunctivitis is from fecal matter, right? So I don't know. I'm thinking how dirty she is at this point, and now I got it. So people are going to think that I'm rubbing my ass and then rubbing my eye. So I was pissed off.
I have never heard of that. Conjunctivitis comes from fecal matter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Somebody didn't wash their hands. Went to the bathroom and didn't wash their hands.
Or their dog lifts up its legs and drags its ass across the carpet, and then you lay down on the carpet. But either way, now I'm walking around with fucking pink eye.
Yeah.
Nobody else. There were
audacity to argue.
There were how many people were there who sat around this person? But it was 10 people who sat around this person
minimum.
and interacted.
Yeah, but he was the one that was upset about it. So the more passionate you feel about something, the more you're creating it, the more you're manifesting it, whether you want to or not.
That's the great word, Tess. He manifested it. He manifested it.
Yeah, if you get upset, you get really passionate about something, you bring it unto yourself. Well, that's energetic law.
Tess,
I don't know.
I still haven't hit the lottery, so that can't be true. Okay? Because I'm really angry and pissed about that.
You're really passionate about that one, too.
I am.
I know, Brian, it wasn't funny that you got sick, but it is so funny that you were the only one.
Oh, it's ironic funny.
Yeah,
right?
I am.
Yeah, it was.
I had one of the kids today at work tell me, when are you retiring? And I was like, damn, do I look that old? They said, no. But what is your, how long? Next year? I was like, no, maybe 10 years. Maybe 10 years. She's like, well, what does your retirement look like? I said, nothing. She's like, well, what do you mean? You don't want to travel? I'm like, no, looks like nothing. I want to sit and do nothing until I'm dead.
That's funny that she was asking. How old is she?
23.
20.
Oh, she's young.
Yep. 23 years old. Already asking me when I'm going to retire. I told her, you got a long way to go.
Does she want your job?
No.
She's
got an issue with the guy in the building that we work with. He doesn't work for our company, but we work directly in their company. And every time I go away on vacation, she gets into an argument with them, and then HR gets involved, and it's just a big shit show. So she told me, you're not allowed to leave anymore. And that's when she said, when are you retiring?
Oh,
it's I got a long ways to go.
That's funny.
Tess, we never finished answering your question.
Yeah, the help thing. I mean, I don't know. I just think that it's kind of interesting because there's sometimes where you don't, there's times where you really blatantly should ask for help and it's just a pride thing. And then there's times where you really don't need to. But there's times where people want to help you with things, but we resist that help too. So
doesn't it go along with the same thing where humans actually feel the need to be right?
Maybe. Tell me more.
So, when you argue with somebody, It's not even about arguing about the topic anymore. It's just arguing to be right. You might start making up shit in your head.
Yeah. That's a terrible quality.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But because you haven't been fact checked, they might believe what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's not about the argument anymore. Now it's just okay, I was right. And you're right. It's a horrible, horrible trait to have. But it's inherent in human beings. So maybe it's the same thing with help. You don't want to ask for help because then you feel like you're not winning. You're not winning the asking game. I don't know.
Yeah. And how much does that have to do with how you were raised too? Whether or not you're willing to accept help or.
Because you have a knee-jerk reaction because if you would ask your parents for help and they would rebuff you or shame you for it, then you're going to grow up with that feeling of shame about asking for help.
It took me a while to realize that I knew more than my mother did when I was 10. It was hard to ask for help for someone that you knew you were smarter than already.
You didn't need the help, yeah.
And my dad was the type of person, if you asked for help, he would totally just do it for you. If you said, help me do this, he'd say, just move, I'll do it. So I wasn't able to learn.
My mom was like that with cooking. She wasn't patient enough to let me do it slowly or potentially do it wrong while I was learning. She just had to take it away from us.
Right.
So we had to learn by watching rather than by doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I noticed I do that with the kid now, too.
Just let me take it. Let me do it.
So the other day, she was in the kitchen, and I had just got home from work, and I saw her. And we have this, high-tech stove. The lady that owned the house before us was, a real chef, a baker and everything. And she's got this really high-tech stove where you got to turn it, and it's click, 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 and then the flame comes on. But when you let go, the flame goes out. So you got to turn it back a little bit and get the setting right before the flame comes out. And I see the kid, an 8-year-old over there on this stove. and I'm just watching her, and she got it. She figured it out right away. And I'm like, son of a bitch. You know? It took me 2 weeks to figure this out. This little stinker goes and figures it out in 2 minutes. But it took a lot to let her play with the stove.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's one of the things when I took a parenting class many years ago, that's one of the things they said, that parents, good intentioned or parents with good intentions, try to help their kids, or don't like to see their kids struggle with trying to complete a task or, learn something new.
Right.
And the reality is all they need to do is make sure they're safe, but you have to let them struggle. You can't always step in and help them out. You have to let them struggle. Like just even basic, when you have a little baby and they decide they want to go down the stairs, most of us panic when we see that they're starting to go down the stairs because we're afraid they're going to fall. But not letting them do it is worse. What you need to do is just watch them and let them come down the stairs, but they need to learn how to come down the stairs.
Right. Well, that's what Em just said to me the other day. Like, I'm very firm with, like, don't do this. Watch out. Don't get hurt. You're going to do this. She's like, let her get hurt. It's the only way she's going to learn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. And the philosophy of the daycare where our son went also taught, consequence or cause and effect, right? So if a kid if they're in their high chair and they drop the toy on the floor, or in their car seat and they drop the toy on the floor, how many people almost get into an accident trying to get that toy so that the kid stays mollified during a drive?
Yeah.
Instead of just letting them learn, if you throw your toy on the floor, you lost the toy for the rest of the drive. So they said, just let them learn cause and effect and don't always fix everything for them. Because you don't want them.
I just feel like when you don't, I agree with that concept in the grand scheme of things, but because I don't want to hear the crying, whining, and bitching that goes on because they dropped it, it's kind of annoying to not fix the problem right away.
Yeah, it is. It's just that then they know that crying, whining, and bitching gets them everything,
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But I get it. It's a difficult thing because when you have a young child, especially a baby or really young that you can't reason with, the only way they can communicate is through crying. That's how they say that's how they express when they're not happy. But sometimes you have to let them not be happy until they,
you have to just tune out. You have to just zone out when they start with the crying.
Depends on what it's about, but still,
Of course.
So I went to the doctor the other day because of the sickness I had, and I was all set. I know I'm jumping topics over here, but it just kind of popped in my head, so I'm going to go with it. And I was all set to start talking about like the little bit of dysfunction sexually I've been having, and in that area. I'm not waking up with erections anymore. None of that. It all went away. It's all weird and stuff. This sounds weird coming out after we just had a topic about kids, but neither here nor there. And all of a sudden, a girl doctor came in. It wasn't my normal doctor. So I didn't want to say nothing to her. And I know it may sound chauvinistic, but I don't want to talk about my man bits to someone that doesn't have them.
Well, that's understandable.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
So I got a little freaked out, and then, Em says to me, well, did you tell her everything? Because, I went in there for the viral thing, and my chest was congested and all that kind of stuff. But I figured, well, while I'm here, I'll tell him all about this. So I think what happened was I got back because he told me that everything worked out. He hooked me up to EKG things and stuff. So everything looked like it was good. I had a lot less stress. So I came home last night. And I was fine. I went to bed. I got a great night's sleep. And in the morning I woke up and I was like, oh, it's the first time he's been up in a while. So I don't know if it's stress or if there's something else going on. But then I said to her right away, okay, tonight's got to be the night. Because it's been a long time. And I even told her, I feel real bad for your vajayjay because I got a lot stored here right now. So.
Might go for a lost time.
Here's another weird thing about that whole thing. I kind of got freaked out too because I've been taking Mucinex and everything. And when I was dating my ex, anytime we would fool around and everything, and I was on type of an antibiotic or something, she wouldn't let me go inside her. She would always make me pull out. And she's like,
because of the
you're on antibiotics. That's going to go into you and then into me. I never thought of it that way.
I didn't either.
Right? So I said, I thought that would help you. And she's like, well, what if I'm allergic to...
I am allergic to penicillin. That's interesting.
Right? Yeah, so I wonder if that's really a thing or if she just was just paranoid about it.
That's interesting.
I have to fact check that. Can penicillin be transmitted through sperm? I'm going to go to Google right now because Google never lies. Can sperm... What was the question again?
Can antibiotics
be transmitted through sperm?
No.
Oh, it says it. Some antibiotics can be transmitted through sperm.
Really?
Yes, penicillins can accumulate in semen and be absorbed through the vaginal epithelium. Amoxicillin can become concentrated in semen and may be transferred to a partner during oral or vaginal sex. Shit, she wasn't lying to me.
So,
all right,
that's good. Something good can come out of it, I guess.
Could you imagine? Imagine that being a court case. Somebody goes into anaphylaxis, and you're like, well, "We just had sex." Like, I don't know what happened to her.
I didn't do anything to her. Yeah,
I did nothing. I rolled over. I woke up. She was cold.
I think you were the best orgasm ever.
Yeah, and killed her. Wow, that's horrible.
All right. So back to your whole thing. You were like, first you were talking about the doctor and not wanting to bring it up with the female doctor. And then you said that I guess you had, what was it, morning wood again? Or even, I don't remember what you said you woke up with.
Yeah, I woke up with and not so much with with an erection, but just with the feeling of okay, I feel good today. So I don't like to make plans for sex. I feel like it's so unromantic. But the older you get, I feel like the more you have to do it.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, we're going to get some loving tonight. I think tonight's the night. And it's horrible because I was never like this.
Well, but see, sometimes when you plan it, you have the chance to get your head engaged beforehand. Because sometimes if you, again, it's all about the lead up.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the lead up. And because we started doing that 20 years ago because we knew that if we didn't think about it consciously, then at the end of the day with the kids and everything, so you weren't raising young kids, so you didn't have to worry about that. But when you have young kids, everything takes your brain off of sex. So if you plan it and then you intentionally talk about it throughout the day or send each other sexy texts or whatever, then by the time the night comes, you're really looking forward to it. But if you just leave it up to chance and you just let the kids and life and all your responsibilities and crap get in the way, it's harder to make it happen.
Maybe you're just overthinking it.
I'm a total overthinker.
Mm-hmm.
I am too, though.
And the more I think, the worse it gets. I used to be such a visual person. In my head, I'm I'm imagining this, I'm imagining that. I can't even remember the last time I looked at porn.
Isn't that the problem?
I just don't have the energy.
You said you went to the doctor and you told him about your problems, right? You felt like maybe you felt less stress. So maybe do you think that if you had a therapist, it might help you relieve some stress?
You mean a massage therapist?
No.
Monica, I'm trying to stay away from those places. I'm trying to be good.
A mental health therapist.
A mental therapist?
Being able to talk to somebody and having them listen to you and not tell you what to do, but to give you, lead you a little bit into good advice can maybe help.
Isn't that what this is for? Isn't that what you guys are doing for me?
But we don't meet that often. Maybe you need something more frequently.
I don't know. I don't know if that would even help. I don't even know if that would completely help. I don't know if talking about the problem actually fixes the problem.
Okay.
When it's a physical thing, you feel like it's physical in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I still think it's mental because I can tell you with absolute certainty that, well, let's just say that Tim and I have been exploring some kinks together lately, and my body has been super responsive. And I have times where it's not. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what, but lately, because we've been so mentally engaged, my body's been a lot more.
How has he been?
Ready. Oh, he's been great.
If I brought him on right now and said, talk to you without Tess being in the room, is he mentally preparing a football game or is he warming up? What's going on?
Well, we've been exchanging communication. That's kept us both, our headspace both there, Right. So, he's 59, so he deals with his age sometimes, but he's been good. He's been great. I just think,
God bless him.
I just really think it's got a lot to do with your mentality.
Maybe I just need to go watch porn more.
I'm just saying that stuff helps for us. It helps for us a lot.
Well, you also don't have an 8-year-old running around all the time.
You're right. And that's what took my sex life away when I was raising my child.
And unfortunately, porn is very loud.
Yeah.
It is, Monica, but it's hard to like put it on and then have to look over your shoulder every 2 minutes to see if someone's coming, you know? And it's not me.
And you're going to be afraid that she's going to hear something, right? Like some sound might escape, and she's in her little room and she's hearing this stuff, and you're like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, and not even that. I put headphones on and everything, but then when you put headphones on, you can't hear them come out of the room.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't know what's going on. It's just
again. Is there a lock on your door?
Well, there's never a knock on the door. I was using the bathroom the other day, going number 1, and she just walked in.
Oh my God!
Wait, there's not a lock on the door?
There is, but I didn't think I said there was a rule in the house. If you see a shut bathroom door, you knock on it. But because she's 8, she doesn't think all the time. Whoop, come walking in. And it was the bathroom that she uses all the time. Not my bathroom, but like inevitably, you know, in the grand scheme of things, they're all my bathroom, right? So it's like, I want to use a bathroom. I don't want to walk all the way across the house to use my bathroom.
Right.
You see a shut bathroom door, you knock.
Yeah, and wait for an answer. Yeah. Yeah, that continues to be a struggle with the romance. I swear it does. When you have a young kid in the house, it continues to be.
It does.
For sure.
Well, I'm going to give it the old college try tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to go for it. Go. Well, it's funny. When I got back from Vegas, I was sick, and she says, "Hey, I've been listening to podcasts. I learned so many new things. I want to try them out on you." And I'm like, "Honey, I'm dying over here. I got 0 sleep. I'm coughing and everything." She goes, "No, you don't have to do anything. You just have to lay there." I go, "That sounds a lot like sleep. That's what I'm looking forward to."
Poor Em. You're gone. She's doing all this sexy research, and you get home, and she's like, she doesn't even have a willing participant.
Yeah, that's why I said, God bless this person. You know, like I was joking around about something the other day. We were watching Love is Blind, the UK version, and there's a really, really handsome guy on there, and he's so nice, and he's got a Down syndrome brother and all this stuff. And she's like, "This guy is so handsome." And I started watching the show, and I saw him. I was like, "Man," I was like, "Why don't we just have him move in? He can take care, do what he's got to do."
Surrogate lover for her? Is that what you're talking
That's it. He could come on and move in. I'll sit and watch his show while you guys go in the other room.
Oh my goodness.
What does she say to that?
Oh, she just laughs it off.
She was trying to go, "Are you serious? I can get her on an app right now." Just saying.
She's too busy.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I have a hypothetical question, Brian. Just made me think a bit what you were saying. Let's say one day you can't perform, right? You can't do anything. You're done. And Em still has needs. Would you be okay if she steps out and gets her something with somebody else, even if it's just... Do you know
me, Monica?
Yeah, you would. You would be okay. You would be
okay
with it.
I don't give a fuck what people do. You know,
as long as he comes home.
I joked around with her all the time. I said, "You know, if you ever cheat on me, I'm at the point in my life right now where I'd be like, all right, you did what you did. Let's move on. If you fall in love with somebody and you leave, that's something else, right? You just go, right? But if you just went out because you weren't getting it, and I know I'm not giving it, so if she went out and wasn't getting it and she just needed to get it, I'd be like, I have to get over that.
Okay.
You know, she's too
That's
awesome.
One of those things where I wonder if the reality is any different than the thought.
What do you mean?
Like if the reality would feel different than you think you feel when you're thinking about it now.
Well, I had this very similar conversation today at work. There's a kid at work that just got engaged. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's known this girl for 4 months.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And she's a very jealous human being. They've had arguments in the last 4 months. And, everybody thinks, well, if I put a ring on her finger, it'll get better. Well, no, it doesn't get better.
No.
And I made it very clear to him. I said, look, I understand you want to keep this person in your world, right? I understand, but so we call him Silverman now. If anybody ever saw Saving Silverman, it's a hysterical movie, but this guy who's dating this girl that his friends don't like. And they're trying to, because she's a horrible, rotten person. I'm not saying that this girl's horrible and rotten, but I don't think they're a good fit. Mm-hmm. And I basically told him, look, I understand. Look, I was married. I got divorced. I got married late, got divorced, then met what I thought was the love of my life. And then she cheated on me. Then met Staten Island and thought, okay, this is it. This is going to be the one, right? She was crazy, right? And when they leave, I'm upset for 10 minutes. In the grand scheme of things, right? I got to move on. I don't give a shit at this point.
You do.
I'm past that.
Yeah.
Because how many more days do we have left? It's not worth it. And I don't mean this in a bad way to you ladies out there, but there's always another one. And if there's not, there's not. You know, it doesn't matter at this point.
People don't realize that until they get that attention of the next one. But like girls wise, I think when me and my ex split up, I was like, he ended up with, the roommate, and I was like crying, like at home crying. And then I took a trip, I had sex with somebody else, and it made me go, what the fuck am I crying over him for?
Right.
And it really, really helped, Yeah. It really helped me realize that there was life after that relationship.
Yeah.
If he's going to go on and move on, then I will too, But it took being, it's an age-old expression. The way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. It's an age-old expression.
It's a good
But
It's so
there's
true.
some truth to it. You realize there's somebody else out there that will desire you, that will maybe treat you better, that will whatever.
Like I even got to the point where I was like, gosh forbid something ever happened in my relationship now, or something happened. I would just find one of my best friends and say, you want to move in together? Because I'm over the girl thing now. I'm just like, I'm done with it.
It's not the first time you said that.
Yeah, I'm just done with it.
But you'd still be out there trying to you wouldn't even care about having sex.
No. I want to go to a casino, go to a football game, go fishing. Yeah. Sex is just not a thing for me anymore. It's just the weirdest thing. And maybe you're right, Monica. Maybe I need to go talk to somebody, because I'm still pretty young in the grand scheme of things. I used to joke around. I was like, what do I got left? Like 15 more good sexual years? I'm like, shit, I'm totally wasting them.
Yeah.
It's just kind of different now.
Yeah, I hope I don't feel like you do in a year, because you're a year older than me.
You'll be fine.
I'm with you, Brian. But that's because of lack of use. I just lost.
Lack of use.
Monica's saying she didn't use it, so she lost it.
Yeah, I really haven't had a chance to see the milkman anymore. Just too busy, and just nothing's lining up in terms of schedule. But I got off the apps, and I just really I was thinking the other day, like, if I never have sex again, I'll be okay with that.
Right.
God, that depresses me.
And I know, but I think, Tess, if I had a partner, that I probably feel differently. I wouldn't want to have a partner that I couldn't have sex with. So.
It's funny that you say that, Monica, because I do talk to a lot of women, like in passing, like friends of mine and stuff like that, and I'll joke around with them, and people that I work with and the girls I work with that have been, whether they're scorned or something's not working or they're single, and a lot of them say, I don't even need this anymore. And they're younger than me.
I want to get a survey out there. I really do.
Yeah.
Those women that say that, is it because they're not getting laid, so it's to use it or lose it, or is it because they're truly not interested?
Yeah, or they just don't want to be bothered.
I definitely, if you don't use it, you do lose it.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of going through that right now, Monica.
Yeah.
And I have a perfectly beautiful person in the other room that I could be using it all the time. I don't know what it is. My desire is.
She wants it.
Oh yeah, she wants it nonstop.
She definitely wants it. Yeah.
But she's so, and I hate this, like she's so supportive. She never bugs me.
Oh.
If I bring it up, she'll be like, yes, 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 yes. But if I don't, she doesn't say anything. She doesn't want to rock the.
Taking a lot more quiet time when you go off to work.
That's right. She's probably working it like nobody's business, right?
Oh my goodness, she's watching the porn after you go to work.
Yeah. Hey, more power to you. Do your thing. I just feel like maybe you're right. Maybe you guys opened up a little something here. Maybe there's a little bit too much stress in the house. Just bought a new house. Maybe when we were living together, I had a kid running around all the time. Work was stressful. You know, I guess maybe the stress may be causing a problem here.
So what happened to us when we were raising children is now happening to you. I don't necessarily think it's an age thing. I think it's a circumstance thing.
Yeah, it could be.
Not that people don't slow down when they get older, because they do slow down a little bit when they get older, but I don't think you're that old. I think it's just circumstances.
I always find it funny. People my age always tell me, you're not that old.
Yeah, because we don't want to think
But I don't think I'm that old.
Yeah.
Like,
I got news for you, Tess.
Well, I know, but I'm not giving up on anything. Like I don't know.
You're
But I'm
down
in a
with
different place. But that's the thing, like I have the newfound freedom being an empty nester. So I'm like, shit, it's completely different,
I get it.
I have the opportunity to think about my sex life because I can be naked in any room of the house, or I can be I can walk around any way I want, or I can leave my dildo out. Nobody cares. You know, it's going to let them have to lock anything up anymore.
That's a fair point, Tess, because all my kids are adults, but my house is full. I can't walk around naked in my house.
Right. I mean, I don't have to like close my door. I don't have to sleep with clothes. I don't have to. When you're a lot more like, when your lifestyle is on a lot more like that, you're going to be more in touch with your body, more in touch with your sexuality.
Right.
I think it kind of goes with the territory.
I mean,
but you're going through what we went through with younger kids, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
it's not
and
easy.
the stress, like the buying of the house and all that. We do that when we're raising a family. Like,
yeah, because you're stressed out about the kid being in the room or coming into the room, or the kid being in the house and possibly hearing something, or that's all always in the back of your mind, right?
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you, I'm not been used to taking care of people, and I don't mean financially or anything like that. They'd be fine without me financially. I don't mean it like that, but like I feel this obligation to make sure everything is okay. And she will tell me, if I told her this, you don't ever have to feel that way. I was fine before you. I'll be fine after you. I get that. But I have this inherent feeling in me to protect and to like support and do everything I can. And there's a certain pressure that comes along with that because there's such a young kid in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. You're raising a human being.
You know what? Maybe you guys did just therapy me into something here. Maybe this is true. Maybe I'll have a conversation with her later on.
Yeah. Maybe have like a regular time where you send her off to grandma's house.
Oh, I don't trust. See, that's another. I don't trust grandma, so it's going to put more stress on me.
To do what? Why don't you trust grandma?
Why?
Her mom got had to go to the hospital not too long ago. She was having like double vision and all kinds of weird stuff. And I don't need her driving the kid or picking the kid up or in the house with her if something happens, God forbid. It's starting to make me nervous about that. So that's another thing. I worry about everything. I'm a worrier.
Yeah. I think people who like you're worrying also is going to affect your mojo.
Good point.
Yeah. And I just read someplace, well, I didn't read it. I actually saw it on Instagram. A guy said, we waste our lives worrying about stuff when 85% of the things we worry about do not come to fruition. And I'm like, that is so true. Because I worry about everything. And to be honest with you, knock on wood, but 90% of things I worry about do not come to fruition. So
that's a conversation you have to have with yourself.
It's anxiety, every different levels of it, but it's anxiety.
Yeah.
But when you're worried about something, if you know that 85 to 90% doesn't happen, you have to stop and say, this thing that I'm worrying about, is it really going to happen? And here's something I told somebody the other day. I was talking to somebody that has control issues. And I said, I've had to work on control issues myself, but you can't control everything that happens. What you can control is trusting in your ability to be able to handle anything that comes your way. So even though you can't, like a lot of things you worry about, you don't know what's going to come to pass and what doesn't, but you do know that you can handle whatever comes your way. You have your whole life. And some of it's been pretty tough shit.
Yes, exactly. And I'm trying to be preventative because of my past.
Yeah.
Right. So I act a certain way to be preventative. So these, when they do come up, I try to prevent them from coming up in general, which you obviously can't. But I think my mindset thinks, well, if I keep acting this way, it'll prevent stuff and then I don't have to deal with it. But in the meantime, it's like constantly like straining my brain and my body because I'm constantly not letting stuff go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough.
God, I got a lot of fucking issues.
No wonder why you have those hard-ons. Come on.
I know. I got hard-offs now.
I'm saying that Brian needs to start meditation sessions, but ones that work for you, Brian, because I know you've said before that you don't meditate. You're not good at meditating like other people are. But there are other ways you could meditate,
Yeah.
Well, you can also listen to Hertz music. Like there's some Hertz music that is calming music. You just put it on YouTube on the TV while you're cooking dinner or whatever. And some of that stuff, like subconsciously just gets in there.
Like John Mellencamp, Hurt So Good music?
Frequency music.
Frequency.
Tim and I are playing it a
I
lot.
listen to music frequently. Tess?
Not me.
I'm just busting your joke.
So when we sit down, like I'll come home from work and we'll eat dinner or whatever, we'll sit down on the couch and we'll just put they have frequency music with the screen is black. You can't even, or sometimes we put on they have calming music with the nature scapes and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
sometimes he just puts on a black screen and the music's playing and we just hear the music and we're sitting there like talking about our day and with this really calming Hertz music on in the background. And I don't know, subconsciously it might be helping. It's calming. It seems like it's helping, but
Yeah, I can use some calming, that's for sure.
yeah. You look up Hertz frequency music, you'll find some.
I will. Does anybody else want to talk about their malfunctioning body?
Oh, and mine's the opposite right now.
Good for you, Tess. No, I talked about mine too. So I get it, Brian.
You said you don't have time.
I don't have time, and I do try to be more open to trying to meet somebody. If I see somebody I like in person, I try to be more open if they start talking to me or something. But usually when I meet new guys, they're married. So, and I don't do married men. I don't.
Well, you know what? I always look at it this way. When I was in that world and these women were married and I was with them, that wasn't me. I don't mean it wasn't me. It wasn't my problem. That's how I looked at it. It's like, if you're not happy at home and, it's your decision to move, it's your decision to come out here and sleep with me. So,
well, I don't want to be the other woman. Maybe that makes me selfish. Maybe that makes me all about me. I don't know, but I don't want to be the other woman.
Well, I always look at it this way, Monica. If you're not the other woman, someone else is going to be the other woman. So you might as well get your thing going, right?
Yeah, that's true. But that they could, if you're married or in a committed relationship, you can just go to another woman. I don't care. I don't want that. That's not what I want.
There's plenty of guys out there that aren't married that if you're just looking for sex, you can find sex. It's just a matter of if you're looking for the one, that's a lot harder of a pool.
Yeah, Monica doesn't do one nights.
I don't like one nights. I don't want to have just sex with a married man. And I get it, Brian. It's not my fault. It's they're the one that's married. Yeah, I get that. But I still don't want to be involved in that.
I wouldn't do it either, Monica. I wouldn't help somebody lie to their spouse. I couldn't do it.
Exactly. I don't like that.
I wouldn't do it now.
Or I see guys that I like and I'm like, oh God, they're so young. Like too young. Like 20 years young.
They're too young and they're cheating already, right, Monica?
Yeah. So.
Hey, I went through the phase. I didn't care. I was married, cheated. I was married with women that were married.
You didn't have a hard time finding women that would sleep with a married guy either.
No, not at all. I find that most women want a married guy that are younger because they don't want to deal with the relationship.
No.
And they just assume you're going to take them to dinner and do this stuff. And, 90% of the times, I'm not going to lie, we do. Right? We do pay for stuff and give them a different, we're the exciting lifestyle. And we're the guys at home, we're just, supporting them and probably doing exactly what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I'm at home and I'm paying the bills and stuff. She's going out. I don't know what she's doing. As I say, but this is the kind of circumstances, right? Like the guy that you're with or the girl you're with, they're the excitement part of your life. And they also bring back a part of you that you miss in a grand scheme of things. Like as you get older, I'm saying. So when you get older, you remember you were young, you were vibrant, you did this. And when it's exciting, it's exciting. I'm sorry. And it feels crazy good to have that kind of thrill. But that, that's how I used to feel.
I think we've talked about it on the show as well.
Yeah, we have.
We talked about it, Brian, about the smell, that documentary that came out a long time ago where they did that, they had the monkeys.
Yes. Yeah.
A male and a female where they couldn't stop having sex at first and they were fine, but they left them together for a while and eventually the male lost interest. Now, when they put him with the new female, all of a sudden he got interested in it. They boiled it down to the fact that he liked the fact that there was a new smell. Pheromones, what we were talking about before. He liked the new smell.
It's not like with the older guys need to cheat with a younger woman. You know what I mean? It's just the older women are kind of probably just done with the whole cheating thing like you, Monica, and the only ones left are the younger ones. I don't know. That's just a small theory.
Yeah.
It could be an ignorant theory, but that's what we were talking about.
I was going to say that just silenced the room for a second. You were saying that men cheat with younger women because the older women might not be interested in cheating, but the younger women are willing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I never tested the theory, but.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know either. I do have a story about Brian when we move off of this topic that I wanted to share. Something a few weeks ago that Brian called me back dying laughing. We forgot to share it.
Go ahead. What happened?
So Brian and I work together, right? And so we were on a Teams meeting, right? And we were on a Teams meeting with an external company.
I know what she's going to say.
I know, we were on a team meeting with an external company. And so when people are external on a Teams meeting, the internal employees can see the pictures that you've posted of the, so like people see my picture, I can see Brian's picture. But when it's an external person, you can't see their picture. But it just so happened that one of these external people was sharing their screen. And so we didn't know what they looked like. We just saw like their initials. We didn't know what they looked like. So at one point he's sharing his screen and he showed his screen with his coworkers and he could see their pictures, right? So on the screen, there were 2 women. There were three women. Two women. And they were like one of the key technical people. And I'll tell you, the pictures that came up on this guy's screen of these 2 women were beautiful. These 2 women were beautiful. Okay. And the first thing that came to my mind was, oh boy, oh Lordy, Brian's going to love those pictures. I just thought about that. So then while we're on the meeting, I text Brian, yes, I know they're very good looking. I really work up at those pictures. And I said, LOL. That's all I wrote to him.
It was so funny, Tess.
I didn't get a response back. I thought, I wonder if he didn't agree. And I get a call from Brian a half hour after the meeting finished. And what did you say, Brian?
I was dying laughing for like the longest time because she literally sent the text when I was thinking, God, these chicks are hot.
That's
and
funny.
I'm laughing and I'm telling everybody and I never responded back to her. And then finally I called her. I was like, Monica, you know me way too well. In my defense though, Tess, I think that there was a lot of other people, even Monica included, admittedly, right? They thought the same thing.
Oh yeah, the pictures were gorgeous. They looked like they were models.
So I'm having a hard time following this because I do teams all the time at work, and I get what you're saying when your picture's on there because it's your profile, it's your team's environment, but your guests you just see their initials. There's no pictures. But when he was sharing a screen, where were you seeing pictures of women? I don't understand the women you were seeing.
He shared his team's screen. So he was sharing the program that we were all trying to debug, but at one point he shut the program off. And you know how like sometimes when you stop sharing, you close the window and you're sharing your whole screen? Like I think he was sharing.
So you're saying that these women worked with him, but they were on his teams, so he could see them. But okay. So they were.
Yeah, the only reason we saw them was
I've
because
never seen that situation.
He closed the program and his team screen, what he sees.
And these
was
girls were on the call too. Okay.
Yes, they were on the call, so his team screen was showing up, and you could see their pictures on his team screen because he was sharing his screen. Because we didn't know what they looked like. So at that point, he shared his screen, and we saw the pictures. And
so they were exotic girls then, like exotic nationalities.
Yes.
Okay.
And smart and beautiful. So I was like, man, this is great.
Oh, boy. Yeah. You know what? I don't blame you for thinking that because do you know how many women I see in the world and I'm like, oh, he'd like her. Oh, he'd like her. We know your type. We all know your type so well.
I have a type.
He's never shied away from describing it. So
it's so funny because even at work, the guys will be talking, and even the girls that work for me, they'll all be talking, and they'll like the 2 girls that work together, they're talking like, oh, I saw this girl the other day. She was so beautiful. Brian, you wouldn't have been interested. She was not your type.
She was
everybody
blonde.
Everyone knows my type.
She was blonde hair, blue eyed. She was she was beautiful.
Yeah, she was not my type.
Needless to say, these 2 women were dark-haired, long-haired, brown-eyed beauties.
Yes.
Well, has anybody got anything else they want to talk about? Any closing thoughts?
No, I mean, it was just kind of like a shoot the shit episode. I mean, we started talking about like whether or not it can ask for help or not. And then it just, took a life of its own. So I don't really know there's a lot of closing thoughts. We were just shooting the breeze.
Yeah, just shooting the shit. I don't know if it's going to be an amazing episode because we came in a little bit raw, but maybe there's some saving grace in there somewhere. All right. Well, you kids have a wonderful night.
Oh, okay. You too. You guys too.
Thanks for the therapy session.
Okay.
Anytime.
I'll see you guys. Talk to you later. See you next week.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.
Later, Gators.